Hello, fellow gamers. Welcome to I'd Back That Kickstarter. I'm Gloryhoundd, and this is
DrGloryhogg.
And today we're talking about 4 different Kickstarters. We have a ton of people in chat already. Thank you so much for joining us today. It looks like we have Scott, and oh, strangely, we have DrGloryhogg in there, Petter, Battlecry, and Zito. We're super excited to see all of you here. How are you doing today? It's Friday.
Our kid just dropped something massive in the other room.
It's probably fine. It's probably
I'm sure
fine.
last time we did a live stream, she broke one of our lights. Yikes! All right, nothing to get you started off right.
We're here to talk about Kickstarters.
Talk about
not the huge thing that got knocked over in our front room.
Yeah. There's nothing important out there.
No. It's fine.
Just all of our games and my computer.
So, Doctor.
It did sound like a bowling ball, Petter. Like, it sounded like a bowling ball bouncing on concrete, for real. It was just like, bong, 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 bong.
Oh, gosh, Battle. Don't even say that. I'd be so upset. One of our things are out there. I'd be so mad. I mean...
If our collection, the one big shelf we have, the 1.5x4, was to fall over, it would crush Gugong. Like, Gugong would just be gone.
No, we just got Gugong in.
It would be crushed. Well, actually, since it's got game trays inside of it, it would probably hold the shelf up. Because that is the most sturdy plastic insert you can possibly get for your gaming needs.
You can't advertise for game trays on our channel like that.
I'm just saying, like, if you get a flat tire, just put some X-trays on there.
X-trays underneath it, and then like you're gonna jack up your tire with like your car.
Put some X-trays underneath it, and it'll hold your car up. It's not a problem.
No, it's fine.
Drive it up on some game trays, and you can get up underneath the engine, check the oil, whatever you need to do. That's how strong it is.
No, everyone, that's not how that works. All right, first up today we have Dungeon Universalis. Universalis?
Universalis. It's like that.
I'm never going to say that right. I apologize.
I think that's how it's said.
This is by Lucid Dragon Games. It's for 1 to 6 players. It should last about 60 to 180 minutes. This is a dungeon crawl style game.
I thought it went up to 240 minutes. Which at that point, you're just guessing.
What?
Yeah, I think it was like 240 minutes, I thought. One of the games we're talking about this week was up to 240 minutes. Which
Maybe it was this one.
I'm like, at that point, you're just guessing. If it's anywhere from 1 to 4 hours, you have no idea how long it's going to take, which is fine. That's not uncommon in like a sandbox, like Dungeon Delver game. You know, you're gonna spend 1 to many hours playing it.
So this is an interesting one because this is a reprint of the game. And they were successful in the first printing of it and everything. It's out to backers. This has an incredibly great score on BGG. I think this has like a 9 on BGG, like something crazy like that. And I looked in it and I was like, what? A 9? And then I went ahead and pressed the button to see how many people, because I don't want it to be like a 9 and then like 5 people reviewed it.
No,
and I'm like, oh.
4, not 5, just 4 people. If it's 5, it's fine. But if it's 4 people, not enough.
Hello, Nosferatu. It's good to see you here. And I was looking at the stuff, and everybody is talking about how amazing, like, all the stuff is in this game.
Yeah, didn't you see the quotes in the video? It was like, amazing game. And it just fired off, like, all these different quotes.
I'm actually going to scroll down in this, because that video it gives you, like, some little things here and there, but doesn't tell you a whole lot about the campaign. Hello, Ronnie. How are you doing? So, in the previous campaign, I think that they had some issues with some of the cards. Translations in one of the languages. I don't know if it was in, is it our audio, Nosferatu? I'm not sure on that.
It's not ours.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
I'm looking at our audio.
Oh, okay, okay. Okay, I was like, wait a second.
It's okay, Nosferatu. It's okay.
Don't freak me out like that.
You're soon to be a dad, so you're going to have a lot of idiot moments, trust me.
So there was something wrong with one of the translations, I think, of it, but this still got out to backers. I think with this one here, they're revising some of the cards and they're revising some of the like stuff in the books and everything like that.
Like you can buy an upgrade pack that like converts some stuff, gives you some reprinted cards and everything.
Right. So I'm glad that they're fixing that with it. But this is like a dungeon crawl in a box here.
No, this is like a whole world in a box. This thing is crazy.
A whole world in a box?
So like as I was looking at this thing and going through it and just seeing what's in this box, I was just like, I don't have enough years left on this planet to go through this game sufficiently. Like, that's what my biggest worry is. There's so much, and it's a good thing for a lot of people, but I'm looking at this thing, I'm like, how would I ever feel like I played through this? This is like, I feel like if you took like all the Gloomhavens together and put them in one box maybe or something, like, it just seems like this is like playing D&D where you could just almost play it
absolutely.
infinitely. infinite amount of hours, from 1 to all the hours you have of your life.
Because you're going to get characters, you're going to get dungeon tiles, you're going to get campaign sessions, you're going to get different, monsters that you put in there. Here's the really cool thing about this is...
Your character progression's all crazy.
How's your character progression?
Because it's like 20 different classes and like 25 professions or something. So like
so you got like a mix and match going on.
Yeah, you start doing those combinations where you're like an alchemy necromancer. I'm just making that up. I don't know if that exists, but you can be the best class ever, which is the alchemist barbarian that just makes potions and puts them on their chest and thinks that they're a wizard. So they run up to something, they go fireball, and they hug people and they explode. It's barbarian.
Wow, that's not.
Barbarian wizard.
I have to say, I haven't looked into this one much, but you're selling it well. So here's the really cool thing about this one, Petter, though. So I believe that the scenarios are like a randomized sort of thing. So like when you go in...
There's storytelling ones, though, too.
Right. I'm saying, though, when you go into the dungeon, all of the bad guys are not going to be in the exact same place as they were the last time you went into the dungeon in that campaign. And same with the traps and stuff like that. So I think that portion of it is randomized over the campaign, so you'd be able to play something and then have a different experience with it, which I think is really, really cool, because if you've ever introduced games like this to players, you're playing that first scenario a gajillion times. Just like a gajillion times, okay?
I'm with Battlecry, just be like, all right, okay, this is good, stop selling me.
So I think that's really awesome. And what was the other one here? Oh, and then they had the player competitive mode, which I really, really thought was a fantastic idea. So with your normal dungeon crawl style game, you go in with your friends and you start battling stuff. Well, this one, I didn't look fully into the mechanics of it, but whenever I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. They have a competitive mode where you and a friend go into the dungeon, and I don't know if you have to like kill a certain number of monsters or something, but you have a competitive nature with that mode and what you're getting from the dungeon.
Well, there's I think at least 5 modes. There's one where somebody plays it traditional RPG style, where there's like this omnipresent GM, right, that like knows everything. There's the dark player mode where you still
Well, that's the dark player mode.
Okay, well, the dark player mode, you're still playing kind of like as a GM, but I don't think you're omniscient. Like, I don't think you know everything.
Oh, no, wait. There's
the solo, of course, which I don't know if you count that as a whole other mode, but yeah, I mean, it is a different mode, I guess. There's also like one of the expansion comes with where you like kind of bid on the cards. So you're like working together, but you're also trying to get like better cards than like your neighbors. So you kind of have to like battle that out. Like, do I want to give them this card, or do I want it? How do I want to bid on this? There's like so many different things you can do with this. This is basically like they built a sandbox engine, they put it on the table, then they added a narrative to it, so you can basically play it really any way you want. They even talk about bringing in miniatures and monsters from other games and playing with them too.
Well, and that's why I really like this. That's why I really like this, because so many times whenever you get like your big box of Dungeon and Dragon style box and everything, not the role-playing books, but what is it called? Is it just Dungeons and Dragons? I can't remember. I don't know. Wizards of the Coast makes it. There's a Ravenloft one. We've played it, but you don't have that sandbox nature to it. Like, you can't change a whole lot. Like, you might have a little scenario book and you have some tiles that you go through and stuff.
Settings?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, when you get the campaign setting books, but they do that on purpose, is to give people like me who don't want to build the whole world, like pretty much a preset world that you can work within instead of having to build it from scratch.
I like this one though is more versatile in that, and that you can add things and you can make stuff, or you can change to the competitive play and nature of the game. Or if you really like storytelling games, you can go storytelling games with it. You can build your own storytelling base over top of it. Like, this has so many more uses, I think, than some of the other big box games.
Are you talking about the campaign settings in D&D, or like the books, or are you talking about the D&D games, board games?
The D&D board games.
Oh, so you're talking like Temple of Elemental Evil.
The big boxes, you know?
Temple of Elemental Evil is one of them.
You can go ahead and you throw out the box. It's basically,
gotcha.
Well, it's not the same thing, but it has the basic premise where you throw out the box. You have, 4 general heroes in there, and then you have cut tiles and stuff, and you have a little campaign scenario and stuff. This goes like 10 steps further than that. That's what I'm saying.
Well, because the idea of those D&D adventure games, like Curse of Elemental Evil, is to give you an idea of how to play 4th edition or 5th edition, whichever version of it you have, so that you could basically, if you learn that, you can jump right into the role-playing, like with just books only, pen and paper, or vice versa. It's really easy to jump back and forth between them.
So Petter makes a really good point. If you didn't love running D&D, I could see this being a good alternative. And I totally agree, Petter. So,
well, this kind of reminds me of something like Skyrim, though. So, like, I love Skyrim, and I played through Skyrim once or twice. And I've probably put thousands of hours in Skyrim. I don't even want to know how many hours. But to a certain point in time, it becomes like overwhelming where you're just like, I could go so many different paths and do so many things. I feel like I never complete anything. And so after a while, I just get like, all right, I've spent, I'm like level 60 and I've only done like the first 2 quests in the main storyline. I need to stop and I move on to a different game because there's just so much here. I wonder if, for me personally, since I'm always chasing the newest things, if this is so much game that I would just like get burnt out and I would never get through it.
Would you get overwhelmed, Doctor? You're like, oh my God, I don't know where to go.
Like, I like openness, right? But not so much that I'm just like, oh my God, I could do this for the rest. I mean, this is what we would call a lifestyle game. Like getting into Warhammer or something like that. You could just play this every weekend for years.
Nosferatu says Skyrim plus Diablo 1 plus D&D.
Yeah, which is great. I love all of those things by themselves, but to a certain degree, like D&D, you can play D&D forever. I mean, you just roll up a new character, and all of a sudden you're playing a whole new thing, right? It changes everything.
Okay, so here's what I'm talking about, is the standard mode with the Dark Player. The Dark Player is one more player who competes against the other players, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah, it's a one versus many type of situation.
Then you have your competitive mode, you have your lone wolf mode, RPG mode, your open map mode. So, like, you are able to do so much more with this game, and I really, really appreciate that.
There is a lot. This is what I was talking about, was this one here, where you have to, you make bids competing with the other players. But you are still working together.
All the love that you put in this game, we see the final end portion of this, where we see it on Kickstarter, and we're like, oh, this is awesome. But the amount of hours that go into some of these big box dungeon style games is insane. You have to have writers writing all of the text for this. You have to have artists making all of the art for all of these.
I'm sure they copy most of this from like Wiki or something,
And I appreciate
Wikipedia,
that.
Wikipedia, they got most of the lore, I'm sure.
So much, so insanely much that somebody can put together a box adventure for somebody to play.
You should sign up for their Patreon.
Maybe.
No, and that's what's great about it, but that's also what's turning me off from it, because it is so much. I look at those games like Gloomhaven and stuff, and I'm trying to not get too much more of those games because we have so many of those. But if you're a person that does a lot of these dungeon delves, you've got a group or you play them solo and you go through them, I think this could be a really great game to go through. Well, there's a ton to it. You just have to want that.
Okay, so hold on. So Ryan says, I've been playing D&D for 15 years. Don't know if I want to add to
that load.
But
just saying,
looks great.
This is like another 15 years worth of content, which is great. It is amazing, but it is, like I said, a lifestyle game. It's like playing Warhammer. You could basically play Warhammer forever. You could play this probably, realistically, this could be the only dungeon delving game that you have, and you'd be fine with that.
So Ronnie says, making a game like that is real dedication. It seems like serious passion project. So all I'm saying is that if you think of the top big box games like this, and what they offer you, I appreciate that this one is up there in content, and it offers you different things than, say, like your Gloomhaven is going to offer you, or, your board game style D&D box. Like, this is above that normal dungeon crawl, I feel, because it offers you so much more, but it also offers you different things than the ones that are at the top, and I really, really like that.
Dungeon delving, I can't talk apparently. I can't say anything with DW on it. Dwarves, delving, boas, mowage, sweet mowage. So, yeah, and I think that's amazing. It kind of reminds me of some of the earlier, if you played Dragon Age, the first one, it was just so open-ended. You could basically do whatever you wanted. But then if you played the second one, it was more streamlined. You just kind of have to decide what you want. The thing I like about Gloomhaven is that I have a certain character class and I can kind of play that character for a while and then move on to another one. Where this one is kind of like playing D&D. I'm probably going to fall in love with my first character, and it's do I just play this character for the rest of my life until I die? I'm going to die with dice in my hand or something? Still playing my first character I ever made up in Dungeon Universalis?
When we get old and we retire to an old folks community and stuff like that, I 100% will be doing D&D style games. Well, actually, I'll probably be doing Vampire the Masquerade style games in our old person.
I know, but we're not that old, right? So we don't need to store it for the next 40 years.
Oh, we do. We do.
She's like, I'll collect all of these dungeon delving games for the next 40 years, and then by then there's probably gonna be something else.
I will get my dungeon delving games and all my RPGs that I want to play now, and then whenever I get older, then that'll be the prime time to play for everybody. Okay.
We talked about this on
the compound.
We talked about this on Discord. You can't call it the compound, or the FBI starts tapping our line.
When we get to the game compound.
Yes, I would actually make a commune where everybody just has houses with a big centralized kitchen/board game area where you would just hang out and eat and play games. Obviously, we got to knock out some of these pandemic things we got going on right now. But no, I would love that.
Yeah.
But I do feel like this is you get a lot for your money in this one. You just have to want this out of the game, and I think it's great for a lot of people. I just don't think it works for me.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, the sign still says not a compound.
Definitely,
right.
You have to have definitely in the big bold. Definitely not a compound.
I don't know if you missed this, but we had this whole conversation about this like weeks ago on Discord. It was pretty good.
Free Kool-Aid at the compound, though.
I think Petter got promoted for actually making that sign that says not a compound. I think that's what it is.
With 9 Inch Nails playing in the background.
Yeah, it's totally fine. This is totally fine. I can't wait to be old and retired and just playing games all the time.
Play games all the time? That would be lovely.
I really hope that happens for us.
That would be super lovely. All right. Well, I think that if you are into dungeon crawl style games, this is going to be a fantastic addition to those sort of games that you're looking for. And as far as the rules go, I don't feel like it's going to be overly complex, where I know sometimes like board gamers who are reading like an RPG book and stuff like that, like, it's not the same thing. It takes commitment to read an RPG book and then carry on like an RPG campaign. I feel like that meeting in the middle of a dungeon crawl board game is just, it's perfect. It's perfect for board gamers. Like, that's the perfect place to start, is in that dungeon crawl style board game. And then if you enjoy that even more, you can go to RPGs. So I'm down with all of that. This one here, Dr. Gloryhogg?
I think is perfect for people that want to play it. I'm excited, but I just know realistically I don't have the time, so I don't want it to be up on my shelf.
I know. They need metal coins, right?
I think they figure like it's expensive enough because like the all-in I think is like $250 or something.
These are still cool coins though.
Yeah.
But they do need metal coins. You can always get your own metal coins. That's not a problem. That's not a problem. All right. Well, I'm gonna say that if we were looking for a big box game, I would definitely back this because of all of the cool additional stuff. I'm really, really excited about that dark player mode.
I currently have enough time to go through that and actually appreciate it for what it is. So I'm going to pretend like it doesn't exist. So that way I don't have to feel bad about it. Otherwise, it's going to end up on my shelf for like 4 years. We'll play it for like 2 weekends in a row, and then I'll put it back on my shelf, and I'll never see it again.
Plus, this being the second printing, this is the way to go. They cleaned up all the like little text mistakes or anything that they had. Like, it's 100% ready to go, everyone, okay?
You just activated our dog when you said that. He's like, text mistakes, what? I'm text? Let's do this.
Well, let's see here. Without knowing anything about the others, this gets my burrito for the whole month.
So that's a good point.
It's good. You know what, Nosferatu, you're going to have plenty of time with the baby to go ahead and play these games, okay? Because
I feel like
you're going to be stuck at home for a while.
That's fair. If you're a person that only backs like a couple campaigns a year, right?
Yes.
Like you back like one a month, this is fine. I think it's fine. I think with the amount of campaigns we back, plus the other stuff we get in to do for all the Kickstarter previews we do and everything, I just think we personally get too much in for this. But that's why I'm prefacing that by saying it doesn't work for me because it's too much. But if you've got the time for this bad boy, go all in.
This is it. Yeah, go all in for it. Absolutely. Like, our time constraints have varied, and right now we have like the least amount of time to do those sort of games. We have a ton of those games we want to get back to right now. So for us, adding the extra one is not an option.
I have to like straight up like schedule time just to punch out Gugong.
I want it.
Like I was like, all right, I can book 30 minutes to punch out Gugong and get it all set up.
Babies are bards. 100% they are. Absolutely.
They bring all the laughs and all the charisma.
Oh, you know what? We didn't even talk about the price for that one. It was $141 for the all-in.
Yeah,
for that
I think it
one.
went up to like $250 or $280.
Yeah,
or
if you want like the crazy big version with all the expansion stuff and everything for that one.
There's a couple different options you can get. So if you've already got the original, you get the upgraded components and the expansions, and that's not too expensive. But yeah, it is a lot.
Next up, we have Cartographers Heroes. This is by Thunderworks Games. This is for 1 to 100 players. It should last about 30 to 40 minutes. This is a standalone follow-up game to Cartographers. So if you have Cartographers at home, you can go ahead and play that game. You can combine these games. Like, you can do all sorts of stuff with it, okay? If you don't have it at home, you can get just the heroes to start off with. There's lots and lots of options for you here. For this particular game here, this is a flip and draw game. You're going to be flipping out cards. You're going to be drawing stuff on your little maps here and trying to make different combinations of stuff. And the really cool part of this game is the fact that throughout the game, monsters might show up, and you have to end up passing your map to other players. And when that happens, they get to draw like bad stuff on your map that then you have to go ahead and try to like minimize the destruction of what's happening on your map while also creating things.
Right. The biggest thing this adds is it adds like special powers to the monsters. And then there's also hero cards you can flip out to fight the monsters.
Yeah.
So if I understand it correctly. And then, of course, you can also get like the big box, which actually fits the original Cartographers plus this one in the box. I already know where you're going with this.
What?
You are a super fan of roll and writes, and I am just not. I get to be the naysayer where I'm like, no, I don't like roll and writes. I think roll and writes are fine. There's a couple of them that I like, okay, but I have never brought a roll and write over to somebody's house to play it with them. I've never been like, I know you have. You literally did it like 2 weekends ago. You always bring a roll and write, and I don't. So I think that makes a big difference. If you are a person that likes roll and writes, Petter, then I could see this being a very exciting game because it did add some new elements to it, and you get a bunch of new maps. So if you're a big fan of Cartographers, I play Cartographers. I liked it, but there is no roll and write that's in like my top 10. Let's just say that.
So Petter says, take my burrito, Thunderworks.
Yeah, no, Petter already
throw the burrito right at him, right?
Petter's getting what? The collector's one, I bet, probably, so you can fit him in there.
Petter, you and I are going to have to talk about this, okay? So I don't have 2 friends. Now I need 100. Well, you don't need that many.
I have exactly 101 friends, so there's always somebody who gets left out.
So you do have new monsters that can be added right here to your monster ensemble.
So Ronnie's actually asking a really good question. We have played the original Cartographer. We enjoy it. I like that whenever you do draw that monster card, you actually get to draw on somebody else's stuff and kind of mess with them.
Yes.
I like that interaction. If you already went all in on Railroad Inc., you're going to get a whole bunch of different games with a whole bunch of different sets of rules in Railroad Inc. This just plays differently.
Oh yeah, no, it plays 100%
it's got different goals,
differently.
Different maps. Railroad Inc. is a more traditional, I would almost say like a lighter roll and write usually, where it's like you roll, you place out your stuff, and that's it. This one has a little bit more depth because you have goals that you're trying to actually hit, and you're trying to go around things, and you're trying to you're playing more polyomino style versus like just drawing like, oh, I'm going to turn or go straight.
However, if you like Railroad Inc., you are going to like the tactical portion of Cartographers or Heroes, because in this game here, it's not like you're just drawing stuff on the board. You really, really have to worry about the strategic placement of those polyominoes, and then adding in this monster portion where the monsters attack you, and that is randomized by the people that you play with. And now they have these hero cards here, which are also different ways to score things and put things on your board. There's so much going on with that. And then they have different maps with these as well. So
yes, which I think is really big. I think the different maps and different goals always spices it up. So if this is one you play a lot, that always helps.
Hello,
and
I
like that it's a standalone, so you can just get this if you don't have the original. You can dive in at this point and go from there. It's just really on if you like roll and writes. If you are a fan of roll and writes, I think this is a very safe back.
Absolutely.
And it's the least expensive campaign we have this week, too. I think it's only like $20 for the basic.
If you're just getting the base game.
The new one,
new base game.
Yeah.
The really cool part, too, about the goals in this, I love how they overlap. So, like, you have goal A and goal B that you have to go for the first round, and then you go, like, B and C, and then by the end of it, whenever you get to, like, the 4th round, you're doing whatever the last goal is, and then you're recovering by doing, like, the first goal again, which I thought was so much fun, because as you're going along, you're having to order, and you can start planning out on how you want things to go, but you still have to loop back to what you started with in the beginning of the game, and I love that so much. And then you also have these skill cards, which in the base game, they had some skill cards, but it's nice to see that they have added more of those. You can play with or without those usually, and they just add more variance to the game as you're playing.
I will say that I got my butt whooped last time we played this, I'm pretty sure. I always do. Yeah, and if you want to have a roll and write opinion, definitely she's the one to get into to talk with. If you want to know about a Amerithrash game, I will tell you if you feel like you are doing that game, the things in that game.
And hello, Dan, the Game Boy Geek. How are you doing? So I'd Suggest
Yeah.
Cartographers Mobile if you haven't played it before to get an idea of the gameplay. That's perfect, Robert. Absolutely. Look at these new maps.
I
Look at
I
these
do
new
like
maps.
a game that's good that you can get into for like 20-ish bucks, right? Like that's really big.
This is these new map packs. Okay, so in the original Cartographers,
Didn't it come with colored pencils you were all super
yes,
excited about?
in the original
colored pencils. So ridiculous. She's so easy to please with a roll and write.
In the original,
we should just buy roll and writes. We would save hundreds of dollars a year.
Oh my gosh. In the original Cartographers, you have two map sides. You have like the base map side, which is like a flat plane. You have the other side, which has a big hole in it. I absolutely love. They just added so much variance to this game with the map packs and then the hero scoring, and like it's just so much fun. They did such a good job. I'm so excited.
Of course. Yep, she said it. She said the thing, Battlecry.
Everybody, I said the thing. I'm so excited.
Let's talk about this. This is me trying to save money. So let's talk about the roll and writes we have incoming currently. We have roll and write. We have the all-in on Railroad Inc. What other roll and writes do we have coming in?
Well, I'm not going to tell you because I'm not going to let you shame me for my roll and writes on camera.
I think we can all guess. We can all guess which one. The bad part about it is since I don't enjoy roll and writes as much as she does, I'll play them like once or twice in a row, and then I'm like, cool, and then I won't play them again.
That's true.
So how is the solo play for this? That's what you really need to know.
That's true. I do play a solo, a lot of roll and write solo
When we first
stuff.
got Railroad Inc., she would just play it like, I was like, are you going to go to work today? You're just like going to play Railroad Inc. all day today? She was like, yeah. I'm like, okay.
I'm so down with these extra maps and everything. Oh my goodness.
So I could see getting the extra map. I wouldn't be upset if we back this. But I mean, as you know, just I'm not as big of a fan of the genre in general. But I have liked a lot of the role player stuff. So
let's see here. I'm looking up at our comments here. I've never played a flick and write roll and write. I don't even like adding up victory points at the end of the game. I like knowing I win by being the last person standing.
See? So there you go. There you go. Oh, Nosferatu says we should just get a crossword puzzle. Save you tons.
Oh, no, it's not the same, although I do like crossword puzzles, too. Okay, in this one here, they also have the giant box, which we had already kind of passed. It fits everything together, so if
which
you have...
is nice.
Yeah, if you have both of them, I'm all about upgrading boxes.
I wish I could just convince her to only get, like, to be fully in on, like Railroad Inc. and Cartographers and then just stop with the other ones. Because if you get the big box for this, we got the big box for Railroad Inc. It's like, and then she's got like Metro X, and she's got Welcome to Dino World, and she's got Roll and Write, the Roll and Write game, and she's got, I mean, can we just go over all of them? There's Roman Roll, and how many Roll and Writes do we currently have?
You know what? Scott brings up a really good point. The maps also have unique scoring cards as well, and I forgot to mention that. They absolutely do, which is another awesome arsenal that you can add to that, which I really, really appreciate.
A big box for Welcome to. Yeah, she's got a bunch of the Welcome to also. That's a good point. Fleet the Dice game. Let's talk about it. Let's actually, you know what? Do we need to go purge our roll and writes? Do we need to go through them? Ooh, look at that.
Hold on. I'm sorry. What did you just say to me? Did you just say to me?
Do we need to purge?
Do you want to end this stream right now, Doctor? Is that what you want?
I don't know. Do I?
How dare you? How dare you? I'm insulted. I am so insulted right now, okay? All right, so the base price on this is the $22. If you want all of this stuff, I think it's $50 or something like that. I'm going to say I'm going to back this. I don't know if all of you knew this. I don't want to back this. So hard.
So she does not have a favorite roll and write. She likes too many of them. I have one that I played solo by myself, and that's Fleet the Dice game. And that's my favorite.
Fleet the Dice game as well.
Right, that's my favorite roll and write personally. But I'm also not a person that likes roll and writes, so I don't know how helpful that is.
I think right now I had, it's going to be like the Roman roll, the Railroad Inc., Cartographers, and Fleet the Dice game, I think are my favorites right now.
I'm sure there's another one in there you're forgetting about. I know you like Metro X a lot.
I do too, but I think those are my tops.
Now, which Railroad Inks? Because you're gonna get a bunch of them. I think we're getting in like 20 versions of them. She said it again.
Hashtag Deathlooks.
Yeah.
Hashtag Deathlooks.
That's fair. That's fair. Hey, we all have our thing, right? I could have 100 different deck building games and I would love that. And she is just all in on roll and write. So we just have our own different things that we like.
So
where's our deck building roll and write? That's what we need.
The legendary pledge is $50, and you get all the new goodies plus room to store all the former content.
That is nice.
That's what I'm looking at because I do have all the former content, and plus, like, I have some of the maps that I laminated and stuff like that. Like I need storage.
Nosferatu Clown's
store all
calling you
this
out.
stuff in there.
Do people
What?
really have like a favorite roll and write, or do they just have a favorite pen they use? So,
How?
true
No,
story.
No.
At one point in time, I cleaned out our desk, and you know those Ziploc gallon bags? I put 3 Ziploc gallon bags full of pens, and I made her go through them because we had 3 Ziploc gallon bags filled. And when I say full, I mean like full of pens that she just had been collecting for years.
Why do I always get called out?
A whole bunch of them didn't work. Whole bunch of them didn't work.
Why do I always get called out in stream? Like, this is not fair.
She collects stationery like I don't know, like some like 1920s kids who's been writing their pen pal. Like, I need to collect up some more stationery. Ask her how many notebooks she has around the house. I can see.
Listen.
From where I'm sitting right now, I can see like 7 or 8 notebooks that she like scribbles in like twice and then puts away and then forgets that she ever wrote in it.
Listen.
We have a whole Calic shelf dedicated to notebooks.
I like making notes, okay? There's nothing wrong with that, okay? Get this woman a trapper keeper.
She's got one.
Stat.
She has one from high school still. Do you still have your high school trapper keeper? There's a purple one in there.
Lisa Frank.
Yeah. Hate the scrap, not the scrapbook. That's fair. That's fair. Hey, thanks for showing up, Fatal.
And shipping is $5 in the U.S., which is so cheap, says Petter. Oh my goodness.
That is pretty cheap.
That's fantastic.
I feel like the Dungeon Universalis, I feel like I heard Fatal talking about that at one point in time. But I think that's one I could see Fatal going in on, is Dungeon Universalis.
You know, you have to use your favorite pencils for cartographers.
She does. She's got wet erase, dry erase.
The common rabble use whatever pencils and dry erase markers, and then you have your like perfect ones.
Fatal does have Dungeon Universalis. I knew somebody was talking about it. So she has bought a pencil, one pencil from like, was it like Japan, and had it like specially shipped. One pencil. I think the thing was like, I don't know, like $30 or something ridiculous. How much was it? How much was that pencil?
I did not buy one pencil. I bought several pencils, and I probably spent at least $50 on pencils.
Oh God.
But they were the best pencils ever, and I still use them today. Okay.
Oh my God.
So I use them for cartographers.
No, you didn't. Such a liar. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, everybody's got their thing, right? I just collected useful things. All right. So, like magic cards.
Nosferatu says, not my game, but great price for all you get, plus storage for previous games. Great shipping price. Kudos to the value per $1 on this. Absolutely,
Next time you complain about me buying magic cards, which you almost never do, I can at least resell those. You gonna resell your pencils? Nope.
And Scott says, colored pencils are the best. It's fun to take your time and make everything look artistic. That's what I tell myself anyways. I like that.
That's the problem. I can't draw, so I just give up. I'm like, green square.
They also have, like, the artistic ones that you see online. Like, if you do a really artistic one, they'll repost it online and stuff. Have you seen those? And I think there was, like, some sort of contest at one point for those.
Are you asking me if I follow a bunch of roll and write Instagram accounts? Is that what you're asking me right now?
Dr. Gloryhogg, would you back this?
I don't think I have a choice. I'm pretty sure I'm going to back it if I like it or not.
I'm backing this.
I liked Cartographers enough that I could see getting the map packs if we played it a lot. I don't play a lot of roll and writes though, so at this point in time I wouldn't back it just because I don't play this game enough.
Yes, we have some amazing images on our Facebook page. Yes, I follow them and they look so fantastic, Scott. It's so interesting to see what different artists do with their games and drawing them. It is so cute.
I would play Lockup. I liked Lockup. I would play that again.
That was a good game too.
Yeah.
But I like cartographers.
I just want a bunch of bugbears getting ripped in the prison and then talking about breaking out and being like, getting all buff.
Petter says
that's more my style.
100 cartographer sheets, 100 hero sheets, 3 other maps, 75 sheets each, 2 billion total games possible. If I did the math right. Roll and write creeper.
For real.
All right, I'm totally backing this, everyone. Okay, this is my number one back.
What do you mean? You got you just spoiled it. You're not supposed to talk about your number one till the end of the show. Oh my, I'm so sorry, everybody.
Burrito, back in this game, okay? Here's my burrito right here. All right, next up, we have the thing. Oh, and thank you so much for Thunderworks Games joining us in chat today for this. We really appreciate it whenever the publishers show up and hang out with us and feed us the information we might have missed during our streams. We really appreciate that. So next up here, we have...
Down where it's wetter, life is much better. Join me and see.
The Thing by Pendragon Game Studios. This is for 1 to 8 players. Should take about 15 minutes per a person. This is a... No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm almost done.
What were you gonna say?
Crab people, crab people. Okay, I'm done now.
Are you okay?
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay? Mm-hmm. Are you ready to proceed?
What's in the box?
So this is a board game based off of The Thing. I actually haven't seen The Thing.
You've never seen this movie?
I've never seen this movie. I don't want to see this movie.
I literally was just talking to you about how so I was watching X-Files season 1 again, and I was just talking to her about how the episode The Ice is very close to this premise where there's like, they brought up something from the ice, it infects people, it's hard to know who. There's some similarities, but also some differences. They're both very good on their own. You've never watched The Thing?
Didn't we just watch like an X-Files episode about this? No, I'm not even gonna watch this portion of it. We're switching past this crazy.
Did you not
stuff
just hear me talking about that 5 seconds before you asked me that question?
I don't want to watch The Thing. It looks gross. But it's 80s gross, so it's silly gross, probably.
Hands up in chat if you feel like she just straight up ignores me when I'm talking during the stream. Like, were you off reading something else?
Put their hands up in chat.
Were you reading a note or something? Were
Maybe.
you writing a note?
Maybe.
Like, The Thing is a great movie, and now we have to watch it. Because now that I know you haven't seen it, you just messed up.
No.
Remember, the warmest place to hide is inside of a human being. It's so great. It made me really afraid of dogs for a little bit.
I don't want to.
See, that's Frosty knows. Raise his hand. Frosty knows. She doesn't listen to me. I talk, and she's just like...
I scared the living heck out of me as a kid.
There's another one. And there's another one. I could do this all day. Look, there's Ryan. He's saying shoosh, but it counts. There's Fatal. That's 5 or 6 people that have already said, yeah, she doesn't listen.
Oh,
she doesn't
come on,
listen.
everybody.
Called out. Pen addiction. She's addicted to pens, and she doesn't listen to her own husband during the stream. It's ridiculous. All right. So this game, I think the biggest thing it has going for it is its IP for sure, right? I mean...
I don't think that's fair. I think there's plenty of really awesome things going on in this game. But go ahead.
I'm surprised you heard me.
I'm acknowledging the fact that I'm listening to you right now.
I have to like lean over closer to the camera.
You have to get like this up in here. And be
all right, everybody, here's the deal. I think this game looks interesting, but I don't want it. And here's why. I feel like there's been better implementations of this type of hidden trader mechanic-y type of game.
Oh, I love hidden traders.
I feel like I would rather play Nemesis than this, even though that one's like loosely tied to an IP, but it's not directly. And here's why. Sometimes I feel like whenever a game is tied 100% to an IP, it makes it kind of predictable. Where if something's loosely tied to it, you can still be surprised by some of the things in the game. And so I feel like since this is so closely tied, I'm just going to I'll be like, I don't know, maybe I'll just rather watch the movie instead. I think it looks good. I just don't think it's as good as some of the other ones I've seen recently.
Okay. So in this game, I really like the fact that you have to go and you actually have to like try to keep the base running in this game, which is hugely important. And then I love that the fact that there's the hidden trader mechanic, which is just a thing I just love playing. I just love playing that. And I like the fact that they made it so things get better if you're together. Like if you're together in a room, it's easier to do things.
That's also how you can get infected.
Right. So,
which is basically how life works. It's usually better if you have a partner, but you're more likely to get infected. I like Ronnie's comment where this is like the Pepsi of Nemesis, right? Like this is like the off-brand, the second one. It's all about the base.
It's all about the base. It is all about the base,
about that base. About that base, no things. It's all about that base.
This is fantastically creepy. I think that with these style of games, this is unique in that it does have not just the hidden trader mechanic, but it does have that base management stuff. And I really, really like that. Well, it was a good combination.
I think they kind of, I don't know, maybe it's because of all the Among Us stuff that's been going around lately. I'm thinking like,
that's what it reminds me of.
I've seen more and more of that type of stuff. I've seen a decent amount of it. I feel like this has been done before. There's also been like 3 other IP-related games based off the thing, too.
Let's just pause.
There's like an Outpost game. There's Who Goes There, I think is another one. There's like multiple ones that are related to this IP.
Let's just pause and look at this cute plastic dog for a moment.
Oh, God, don't look at the dogs.
It's
the
so
dog,
cute.
That's how you could tell she's
so
never
cute.
seen the movie when she says, look at that cute dog.
So cute.
Never seen the movie. You will. That dog does not stay cute.
Is this dog become ominous and like
no,
terrible?
it's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's good in the thing.
Hashtag spoilers.
Everything's fine in the thing. Everybody makes it out. Everything is fine. I can't believe you've never seen that movie. I would watch it right now if we could.
I'm worried that there isn't enough gameplay for the price of this. If it were like $50, I'd be down, but it's a bit steep for that price. The only thing that I'm worried about is the fact that there is a hidden trader mechanic, that the hidden trader mechanic is something that
it's always in there
is necessary for the game. And
how do you play that at 2-player?
Right. When you have that particular type of game, it's harder to play with less players.
Yeah. The thing that I liked about Nemesis was that you had different goals that can make you seem suspicious, but doesn't mean you're outright trying to kill everybody. You might want that guy Ryan over there to die, but you're not going to go out there and just murder him. You just might not help him. Right? Or your goal might be for you to be the only one who gets out. So you're going to be playing along the whole time until the very end. Then you're like, peace, guys. See you later. So there's other ways that it forces, almost not forces, it gives other players opportunities to be suspicious, but everyone's acting that way. If you have a hidden traitor for sure, guaranteed, everyone's just going to be suspicious all the time, the whole time, right? You're just going to know. So I don't know how it works with 2 players. There's got to be some kind of variant or rule thing or something.
Yeah, I think that's the only down part that I see to it, is that this might be a game that you're only playing at higher player counts, because I think that,
right.
I don't know, I just really like the basis for it.
Because even Battlestar Galactica, you're supposed to play it at least, I think, 3, and that there could only be 1, or you could not even be, the cool thing about Battlestar Galactica is everyone could start off as humans, and then midway in the game, someone could become a Cylon and find out.
But
so you never know for sure.
When you're playing that game, think about when you're playing it. You're playing it at big conventions, you're playing it when you have a bunch of people over. So that's a couple times a year play. Even a Dead of Winter style game, which I also love, and there may or may not be a traitor in it. You're only breaking that out so many times a year because of the amount of people. Right now, I don't know if I would play it with just 2 players.
Right, because we've had that problem with Dead of Winter, which is one of your favorite games, where we've talked about playing it at 2-player, and there is some variant to it.
Right.
But I don't know, we just have never done it. But at least that one's
there are some games that are just meant to be played with more people.
Yeah, and I think this one leans that way. I don't know how you play this at just 2 players. Or at 1 player, I guess you're controlling everybody. Maybe one of your people is could be infected or something. I don't know. There is some nice aspects to it where you get to you have that phase where you get a point at whoever you think is suspicious.
Yes, I think that's awesome.
And if they get enough suspicion, you can test their blood and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And anybody who's hanging out with somebody else is automatically more suspicious. Because they're in a room with somebody else, so there's more of a chance they can get infected, right? So there are some cool things going for it. If you like the IP, you don't already have a bunch of games like this, I could see it being something to go for. I just don't think it's the best implementation of this type of game I've seen so far.
Nosferatu says, that's a lot of add-ons. Are we sure? Come on, didn't make it?
And Pendragon has only made one other game besides this, unless they've been making stuff under other things.
No, they've only made one other game, and I believe it's delivering right now, basically. Okay. It's on the ships or something like that. It's in the process of being delivered. So
I think if you took the IP off of this, I would be very uninterested.
Really?
If you add the IP, I got more interested. So I think for me, it's a pass this week. I just don't think this is my one. Like I said, I have other games that do this style of thing that I think are just implemented a little bit better, a little bit cleaner. But that's just my opinion.
I agree, Petter. That is my favorite way to play a hidden trader game, is not knowing if not there is one in it, because that creates a real distrust with everybody, and I really, really like that.
Right, and you have that with Battlestar Galactica, with Nemesis, with Dead of Winter. You don't actually know for sure.
Right. It just builds that uncertainty with everything, because sometimes you get into those and you're especially if you're really good at playing hidden trader games, you can look at everybody and you're I know it's that person.
But you know what? Maybe this isn't made for me. Maybe this is made for somebody who's just a really big fan of the game. Of the movie.
And then of the movie,
and then they're going to try to play it with their friends, and they'll play it maybe 3 times a year or once every 5 years, and they'll be super excited about it.
If you are interested in this game, there's only 4 days left on it, so make sure to go ahead and back it now. This one here, yeah, I agree. This would probably be something, too, that if you are interested in introducing players or new gamers to a game of this style, the mechanics aren't going to be so insanely heavy that it bogs down the game. It's going to be a little bit lighter. You're still going to get those hidden trader mechanics in there and stuff, and you're going to bring them something new to play. So that would be something that they know, by an entity that they know, and that just makes things easier to get new gamers to your table.
Like, since Game of Thrones came out, it's exponentially easier to convince people to play Game of Thrones, the board game.
Yeah.
The second edition one.
The second edition one is so much easier, so much easier.
Because they have a general idea of what's supposed to be happening. Where before, if you got out Game of Thrones when it was just the books, people looked at me like I was crazy. They were like, what? What is this about? And I'm like, well, well, you know, it's like this board game, basically, and I have to try to explain the whole idea behind Game of Thrones, which is hard to do in like a 5-minute pitch.
Even just a few seasons into that, like, because Game of Thrones didn't really start getting popular until it was like quite a few seasons in. Like, it was good,
it was pretty popular after the first season, I think.
Hold on. Did you see the smugness on your face? Go ahead.
It was pretty popular after, like, in that first season.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I don't think Game of Thrones got, like, popular after 3 seasons. We're gonna need to see some statistics now. We're gonna need to see some statistics. That wasn't exactly a show that, like, got popular after its third season.
Mr. Smarty Pants over here.
I'm pretty sure it was popular from the beginning.
Whatever. No. It got more popular the longer it went, because there was a point at which I'm like, yeah, Game of Thrones, Grandma. This is a really interesting show. And then all of a sudden, Grandma's like, did you see what happened in that sex scene on Game of Thrones? And I'm like, oh my God, Grandma, we don't need to be talking about these things. So from the beginning of that show to the end, it was quite different, okay? That's all I'm saying.
Doc is right. It was huge after one season. Boom! Thank you, Jim.
Why do you got to be like this? Why do you got to be
Team
like
Hog.
this, huh?
Woo! Let's do this.
All right, Doctor, would you back this game?
No, not at this point in time. I just feel like there's other things that I'm more interested in.
Hold on, somebody said I was correct. Somebody said I was correct, so
I don't think you should trust anything Ryan says.
Is an overruling comment.
Here's the
overruling
deal.
comment.
Ryan is afraid of you. He's always going to say you're correct in public. In private, who knows? Who knows?
Do we need to get Ryan on the phone right now?
Yeah, of course. It was huge after the first season because it took a little bit to get going for people to understand what it was. But once everyone started spreading it around.
Did not know about Game of Thrones first season. Grandma definitely knew every detail of Game of Thrones and could repeat it to you by the very last season, okay?
Well, that's how
it's
all
totally
things work.
Different. But in like a very steep way.
It's going to get... I mean, anything is going to get more popular. I mean, Star Wars wasn't popular after the very first one. It wasn't like raving fans. The second one, it got more popular. The third one, of course, as time goes on, it's going to get more popular. And another 6 years to percolate.
Oh my gosh.
Another 6 years.
That's it. We're moving on. That's enough out of you, Doctor. Next up, we have Frostpunk. This is by Glass Cannon Unplugged. This is for 1 to 4 players. This lasts about 60 minutes. And this is a cooperative style game. Dr. Gloryhogg, do you want to talk a little bit about this game?
No, I want to talk about Game of Thrones now. You're over here messing around. What are we comparing Game of Thrones to? To the first season of Cheers? Did Cheers get more popular after the first season?
The second and third viewership tripled season by season.
That's how shows are supposed to work.
Thank you.
Of course, but to say it wasn't popular. What are the viewers for that first season? And let's compare them to viewers of other shows. Big Bang Theory got more popular after the first season. Le Doy, because it was on for a whole year, so people found it.
Are you ready to talk about
Le Doy.
Frostpunk?
Le Doy. All right. So Frostpunk is like super interesting, right? Like, it's like this end of the world. Everything is frozen.
Hold on.
What? What'd you do?
Oh, okay, there we go.
Oh my
Sorry.
gosh.
Sorry, everyone.
It's like a Euro-y worker placement cooperative game. That's like
I love the tower.
End of the world, apocalyptic, everything is frozen. So actually probably pretty accurate. I'm pretty sure most things will have an ice age again. And you're like in charge of the city, right? And so you have to make all these hard decisions. Like I think one of the coolest decisions is it talked about like adding food additives. So like to make your food stretch, you add sawdust to your food so you can give your more nourishing food to the children. But does that make it so that your workers get sick? Or does it make...
I'm sorry, John said I legitimately thought my stream paused when he froze.
Nice.
Sorry.
We've been trying to recast Greg with Thor from the mountain, but he has not returned my calls. The guy who played the mountain towards the end, I think his name actually is Thor something.
Oh,
like,
really?
Something crazy like that. Yeah, which if your name is Thor, you have to be like a bodybuilder. Otherwise, you're just going to be just mocked for forever.
I also thought my stream stuttered.
Oh, look at that. Cheers got more popular after 4 seasons. Duh. All right. So, Frostpunk, right? So the decisions that you have to make are very, very important. So you can add sawdust to your food to stretch out your food rations to give them more nourishing food to your children. But does that make the workers get sicker faster so you lose workers? Or do the workers straight up find out about it and they get like, they uprise and they're like, we won't eat this swill or whatever, right? They freak out. So you have to make all these really interesting choices to determine like the fate of your city. And then every choice you make adds like different cards into your like kind of like your dusk event. And then there's all these events and there's weather and you've got to provide heat and you've got to have room for all your people to be in the tents. And so you get to make decisions about every little aspect of the game. Like if people are going to die if they're not inside the tents because a blizzard is coming, do you force them to like co-inhabit like multiple places? And then what kind of repercussions come from that? Are there more like killings? Are there more theft? Is there more like attacks because you're shoving like multiple families in one tent? There's all these really cool like interactions that happen based off of every little decision you make. And you're trying to manage like all these different things. I feel like it's going to be the most like realistic. Like I'm trying to manage this whole like end of the world scenario situation with all these different maps and all these different decision trees and everything. It looks super exciting to me.
So I love Nosferatu's comments. Snowpiercer plus Hunger Games plus Fable 2 from Xbox.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
kind of
that
what it
is like
feels
the
like.
feel of it. Petter says, oddly enough, this game is the least interesting to me. I can't really say why. I think probably it's just too dark. This is the one by the creators of Nemesis, I thought, right?
Speaking
the designers
yes.
of Nemesis?
And This War of Mine, which to be fair, both are pretty dark games.
Yeah. And let's see here. The deluxe version is my #1 for the week, says John C. So now Apocalyptic Future is Frozen Wasteland. Instead of the desert with no water,
That's just
it goes
different.
up and down. It's a different type of desert,
Right.
okay? It's still a desert.
The end of the world happens. It's either desert or ice. That's your
It's
only options.
Hot desert or ice desert?
Or it goes Waterworld style where you've melted all the ice and then everything's mostly water.
So water desert?
So you either got
The water desert?
you either got too much water, not enough water, or frozen water. That's the only 3 ways the world can end. Or like a meteor. I don't know.
All right, we have to talk about this plastic cube generator.
I'm no scientologist, but it's probably going to be aliens.
So basically what you're going to be doing is you're going to be putting your malfunction cubes through this thing here. Has like these little slotted holes like this, so not all of them fall down at the same time.
Which is really cool, because that's how much damage you take.
Yes, so you don't know how much you're going to be taking, and then whenever you're actually upgrading this tower, you're actually removing like little pieces in this and putting in different slots, right? Was that what you were saying?
Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. I was reading a comment. So, yes, you can actually change out the middle. So if you upgrade your steam engine, basically, the way you're making all the heat for everybody, it actually changes out the middle. It makes it so that there's less cubes will fall down.
Right.
Because you have that balance of you're pumping more coal in there to make it warmer for everybody, but then more malfunctions can roll through. There's a lot of like really good push and pull mechanics in this. I feel like there's like 8 or 9 little puzzles that you're trying to like balance without letting any of them go too far, right? Because if they lose hope, revolt. If people get too angry, they get greedy, revolt. Or you can just have everyone die. Everyone can freeze to death. I mean, there's so many different ways to do this. It's very much, it is a survival type game that you can play.
So let's see here. I'm not sure why I would play a board game over the video game except for the co-op, but I'm not sure if that's enough.
That's fair, which I haven't played the video game, so like, this is pretty cool.
A member says 3 games to back last week, so I get to skip all the games this week. That's not how it works.
Yeah, Mepper, you don't get to skip games just because.
I think that the other really cool thing is they're making an app portion of this game where you can play with other people who also have the game, and their decisions influence your game as you're playing.
Yeah, so it's like you can
really
play
cool.
solo, but like with other people through the app, which then makes it a solo co-op, I guess. I don't even know 100% how that works, but the idea being that you're making decisions with other players and stuff, which is really cool. If I had a brother that lived in Florida, don't freak out, Ryan. If I had a brother that lived in Florida that had this game and I had it, we could potentially play through that app with us each playing our own copy of the game.
Could you imagine that? So like we could get on here with Petter and we could go ahead and play this game by both having it in front of us and then having our influences that we make in it influence each other's games and what we're doing, which is just so freaking cool. So much fun.
Okay, so Jim is bringing back up the Game of Thrones thing. So I wouldn't call 1.2 or 2.5 million people watching season 1 not that popular. But that's
okay,
me.
so in the United States alone, what is there, like 338 million people or something
and
like that?
everyone's got to watch one show?
Minor.
Oh my gosh.
Minor.
Compare it to another show that you think is more popular in the first season. Compare it to another show that you think is more popular in the first season.
Okay, so Ronnie says, I mean, the video game is a lot cheaper and you should deliver the same kind of experience. I have not played the video game, but now I'm curious.
Yeah.
I'm guessing like Divinity, Original Sin, but on a smaller scale for a board game.
I feel like that because it is very much like every little decision you make pushes and pulls it. And I like the idea that like your workers and stuff can have requests, like they need things, and you can have all these different events. And if you push things too far, like your workers will actually sway more towards like the greedy side of things. There's a lot of different little things you're trying to do while trying to manage this whole thing. But basically, it's the end of the world. You're just trying to survive, and I feel like that's gonna be super interesting.
P.S. The Game of Thrones board game 2nd edition is now on Steam. I think it's now available to play on Steam.
Could you stop talking about Game of Thrones? We're trying to.
Everybody
talk
in chat is bringing it up. Okay, you can't get away from it at this point. No, this has a lot of really fun things working for the game. I really like that they found some fantastic designers to help create this and bring this to life. I really like where they're going with this app portion of it. I love, 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 love this tower. I love it whenever something is not chance, but it's not absolute. Because you know how many cubes you're dropping in there. It's just when will those cubes drop? And I really, really like that because it's something you can plan for, but it feels risky. It feels risky like a game of Pandemic. Well, how it used to feel back in the day when you were first playing and you like got your stomach in a knot and you're like, oh, okay, when I drop these in here, what's going to happen? Or, oh, I go ahead and I do this. And I mean, do you feel like a bad person whenever you're putting sawdust in their bread? Do you? I don't know. Do you?
Well, I would because I have some basic empathy.
Do you name the characters or you're like, Jenny, you live in this house with no roof because you know what? We don't even like you. Go live over there, Jenny.
Oh my God. Well,
what sort of ruler are you
how
going to be?
she rules this household, I guess, right?
What sort of Snowpiercer sort of ruler are you going to be? Who's at the front of that train?
You got to be basically, basically you just take the dead workers and you feed them to the live workers. That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. All right. We all know it's going to happen.
Oh, no.
You've got to do it. You've got to do it. I do like that there is a $100 pledge, which is going to get you the whole game, or with an expansion, both versions give you expansion, or there's a deluxe version, which is like $50 more, but you get the miniature houses and all the miniatures for all the different pieces, and everything's been shaded, which is Kickstarter exclusive too. They're going to do like that wash over it.
Yeah, they're going to do a wash,
nice, I think.
Which really pops.
I don't know. I feel like this is, So Living Green is people. I don't know. This one seems super interesting to me, so I'm hoping she's into it because I want to play this one. And what's nice about it is, although it's a longer game, but since it is a co-op with all these decisions, I get to actually use her deviousness to help me instead of trying to hurt me all the time.
The deviousness works with you instead of against you.
Yeah, and then the luck that I naturally bring works for us too. Whenever we play cooperative games, her devious, like, fill the bread with sawdustness comes out, but then my luck of, like, not having everything blow up on the first turn comes through. It works out very well for us.
Donner party for one.
Unless we're playing on camera, then it doesn't work out well for us.
What, on our
Or is
co-op?
that just 7th Citadel and 7th Continent? Both of those were not going well.
It works really well for Reichbusters. Like, I called that. I did so good on that last game. Oh, so good.
The last game we actually died, remember?
Oh.
Project X killed everybody.
Never mind. It was the game in the middle. It was the game in the middle where I called it. And I was like, the document's over here. Let's do this. And then it was it.
Donner,
so good.
Party of 1?
So good.
It used to be Party of 7? Yikes.
You can use her cold, dead heart to your advantage. Right,
exactly.
That's right. You know what? These people deserve that sawdust bread, okay? I mean, what are they doing for us, okay?
Yeah, Dungeon Designer did not go so well for her. Her little rainbow-colored hallway did not work out.
Listen, the rave hallway was fantastic, though, okay? That's all I have to say. The rave hallway was worth it in the end. More Reichbusters. We need the D team. All right, Dr. Gloryhogg.
Go to the burrito camp.
Would you back that game?
You know I would. You just know I would. Oh my God, I didn't mean to hit him. I'm so sorry.
You're not supposed to slap the burritos. Jeez, Doctor. What's wrong with you? All right, so now's the time when all of us in chat and ourselves pick our favorite for the week. So I want to know in chat, what are all of you backing? It doesn't even have to be one of the Kickstarters that we went ahead and said. It does? Out of these ones here? Okay, never mind.
Just these ones.
It 100% has to be the Kickstarters that we listed today. Which one?
That's it.
are you spending your burrito money on? It's either Chipotle burritos or Kickstarter games. You can't do both, okay?
Can we do both?
Well,
depends on if we're
maybe.
getting cartographers or if we're getting Frostpunk. That's the difference. If you're getting cartographers, you can still go to Chipotle. If you're getting Frostpunk, maybe not. Maybe not.
So, your lovely burritos. Nothing says battle cry. Dang it!
You're not gonna even eat lunch, battle cry. Jesus.
Cartographers Heroes.
I think that's definitely a safe bet to go.
Cartographers for Ronnie. Okay. What about you, Doctor? What's yours?
Frostpunk, for sure.
Frostpunk for sure.
Yeah, I want to play Frostpunk really bad. I think it looks really good. I don't even feel like I could touch like the idea of how good this game is going to be. If you like a survival type game.
Experience it, like.
Yeah, I think because there's so many like little. When I was reading off like the amount of boards, I think there's like 8 or 9 different boards that you're tracking, right? Which is usually something I would not be into, but since it's a survival game where we're just trying to live, I do like those types of games. And I think I like them better as a board game than as a video game. Because sometimes when I play these survival video games, I just get to the point where I'm just like, just give me a gun. I'm going to end this. Like, it's too bleak for me. Too bleak.
Easy choice. Chipotle burritos are death. Cartographers is joy. Maybe you're eating it wrong. Better.
That's fair. Nosferatu is saying that Frostpunk can let me be the mad villain I truly am, and Dungeon Universalis can give them a gameplay for their whole lifetime.
Hello, Just Joe Blogs. How are you doing? It's okay that you're late. We're on the final portion here where we're deciding where we're spending our burrito money on.
Ryan, are you getting Frostpunk?
Ryan,
don't play with me.
If you get Frostpunk, does that mean that we play Ryan's Frostpunk?
Yes.
All right, everyone. I'm going to spend my burrito money on the gigantic Cartographers edition. I want the big box. I want all that stuff in there. I want all the stuff.
Right.
I want all the stuff. I want all the stuff.
Can I ask you a question without you getting mad?
Do I need to do another burrito slap up in here? Is that what you're aiming for today?
If I pulled up my board game stats, how many times have you played Cartographers this year?
Burrito slap! I would play it more. And I would say that I probably played it more last year than this year. But I played it this year. Just because I didn't play it with you does not mean that I did not play it.
You haven't left this house this year. Nice try, princess. Nice try.
I remember opening it, and I remember playing it.
Solo?
I did. It was probably solo, but I do remember opening it this year and playing it and stuff.
Yeah, Jim says just download the app.
Because I reorganized stuff.
Just download the app. Just download the app.
Reorganize
That's what she did with like Sagrada. So she'd played that like so many times. Like I'm like, do you even like Sagrada now? Like because you played it a bunch on your app?
No, it was Carcassonne. I burnt myself out on Carcassonne doing that.
That's fair.
Throw them burritos at cartographers.
Yeah, I think that is definitely the easiest one to go for. I think Frostpunk is unique enough though that I'm going to be excited to play it.
Okay.
Because it's not Spirit Island, it's not Robinson Crusoe, but it is very much a survival, dark, frozen wasteland where we have to like work together in order just to survive. I think it's the storytelling that'll come out of this crazy like Euro game balance thing will be very interesting.
Okay, all right. Let's see here. I would play Cart in a Heartbeat.
Oh, there you go.
Let's see here, and I'm gonna have to check out the Cartographers app now. Now I'm really curious about that too. I got so many things to do today. Everyone.
You need to play. It's like Gauntlet Clever. I played Gauntlet Clever a lot. When we first got it, we got the regular version of it, and we played it like a bunch because we were at BGG Con. That's what we'd play like after the con when we'd go back to our hotel room and everything. But then I got the app and I played it a bunch on the app, and then now I could never play it again and be happy because I just played it too much.
Let's see here. Do you guys have an opinion on Planet Apocalypse Kickstarter, by the way?
I do. So, Ronnie, no ill will to Peterson.
Peterson Games?
Peterson Games.
Yes.
It's like Petesen.
Yeah.
They have like 10 Kickstarters out in the wind right now. We've backed Hyperspace. I will not cover one of their games until we get Hyperspace because I think it's unfair that they have 10, I think it is 10
in production
campaigns that haven't been delivered, active right now. So we're not going to cover their game if we don't have their last game that they did 10 times ago. So
absolutely.
I think it's going to show up. I have faith it's going to show up. I know that because from behind the scenes, I know Game Trace is making the trays for it, so they're working on that. There's been some holdups, not from Game Trace, but just from production in general because of COVID and everything like that. But I'm not going to cover a game company that has multiple Kickstarters that are just unfulfilled.
Absolutely. So for Kickstarter, the general rule is that whenever you produce a game, you might only produce so many, and then you actually get them out to people in a reasonable amount of time.
Yeah, 2 or 3 is fine.
We've seen so many companies have really bad things happen to them whenever they start going into that process, where they start creating too many games, they have too many out there, and
it makes you worried. Like
it does. It makes you worried.
Are they
like,
funding?
oh.
Are they funding this Planet Apocalypse to pay for one of the games that they've already promised to do?
Right.
And how much time can he be spending creating this game if he's already got Galactica out, and there was like some other one, and then there's Planet Apocalypse like redo that he's doing right now, and there was like some cat expansion one to like Cthulhu Wars, and he's got all these different projects, like 10 other projects.
Yeah.
How much time is he spending on Hyperforce?
Yeah, how much time can you devote to each project with that? Because board game teams are small. So yeah, absolutely. No ill will towards them or anything like that. We still want our product and everything. We're excited about getting it. It's just we won't actually show that to the market until we feel like they're getting things out at a reasonable time, because our show is all about, making sure that you guys make informed decisions and everything,
So we definitely don't want to like get everybody hyped up about a game that we are worried about, if you will.
So Steven, hello, how are you doing? When do the Kickstarters take their own rules seriously?
They never do.
Yeah, I think they just have so much stuff going on,
they don't know.
Like Colossal
got called on it, and Colossal had less projects than that out. Like less big projects, too, because some of the Colossal ones were like tiny little $20 Kickstarters, so like...
just don't, they have so many things going on, they have no idea what's going on a smaller scale with that,
I like Mepper. I'm afraid of how much my life and the world in general will change before the 7th Citadel finally delivers. Yeah, sometimes it's weird, right? Because right now we are at the cusp of having, so we backed a bunch of Skybound games last year, so we're at the cusp of having like Dice Run Adventures, Valiant and Villainy, was it Tidal Blades, not Maximum Apocalypse, what's the other one we have? Dwellings of Everdell should deliver soon. There's all these games that we're getting in now that we backed last year that I'm like, when we got a Gugong, I'm like, did we cover that one? Like, I don't remember covering that one. Like, I'd have to go back and watch that. There's so many games. It is weird to, like, Kickstarter is very unique in that when you buy the game now, and then you get it like next year, and it's like almost like a surprise.
That Gugong box came in, and it is
amazing. It does look amazing.
Good. It's so good. Like, I'm gonna take video of it today. I'm gonna show all of you. It's amazing.
And I have definitely a little bit more leniency for like somebody that's a smaller game company that has like $20, $30 games coming out that are look like they're mostly built, versus these big miniature games that are supposed to have all this interesting gameplay, and I've got like 10 of them outstanding. There's definitely a sliding scale.
There's a lot of...
It's a gut feeling.
There's a lot of stuff that goes into those and creating those, and just like how much time can you devote to each one when you have so many in play. So let's see here. I was
talking about tasting minstrel gaming games.
That's another conversation, Jim. That's another conversation.
I don't know much about Belfort, but...
So if you are new to our channel, make sure to hit like and subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified whenever we talk about Kickstarters or play them, because we do play a couple of Kickstarters every week.
Yes.
Hello, Michael. How are you doing? It's good to see you here. And what else?
That's our destiny, buddy.
We also have our Patreon account up. So if you like this show is actually, it's not sponsored right now. So we're not even getting a sponsorship for this show. And we appreciate being able to bring you all this information. Would appreciate if you guys would at least check our Patreon out, because I want to get the Adobe products, everyone. That's actually the real goal for me right now. I want to upgrade.
And I want to get braces for my legs.
I want to upgrade my content and start producing more videos, more pictures and everything. And I use all free stuff right now. So
Etherfield, that's another one we should be getting.
Oh, I cannot wait for Etherfield.
So many games. I have so many games in the wind that are coming that they'll all deliver at the same time, and I'll just cry because I'll get them all at once. We just got Red Outpost and Gugong, and
so excited.
I feel like we got something else recently too. Oh, we have new stuff like Shadow Network, which is not even on Kickstarter yet, which we're going to be doing some stuff with. So there's a lot of stuff out there. I just want it all now, and also to have infinite time to play them.
And also I'm going to be putting up other stuff on Patreon. So right now I have a couple of preview videos that I did and that got posted early on Patreon, and I'm looking at making some other content for that. So
Petter says I need braces for my teeth.
You do?
That's what Petter said.
No.
I had braces when I was young. You were too poor to afford the retainer.
Oh, Nosferatu says I'm supposed to get Unicorn Fever soon.
Yeah.
That game looks so amazing.
Steampunk Fusion Rally got like delayed, unfortunately. Yeah. I just saw that in our Discord. One of our, I think it was Fatal maybe who posted it, or Petter. If you guys like Fatal or Petter or Battlecry, they are on Discord a lot. Nosferatu's on there, Steven. So also jump on our Discord. The link is in our actual description of this video too.
Yeah, the Quackalope unboxing of Etherfield says the box was 34 pounds. I don't doubt that. I am so excited to get my Etherfields in. Like,
so many games. Oh, you just got Moonraker?
All the games.
We have actually the prototype of Moonraker. I want to play it.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate all of you showing up and talking with us. We have so much fun talking to you and going over these Kickstarters. We really, really appreciate you all being here. Is there anything else?
I thought it was okay. It was an okay time.
Do you want me to burrito slap him again, everybody? I will burrito slap for all of you.
I've been watching Cobra Kai, so I'll be like, like block it.
You have to practice the exercises first.
Paint
and I have not
the
seen any
fence.
painting. I have not seen any
Paint
painting
the
going on in this house,
You don't know.
okay?
You don't know. She doesn't know.
A double burrito slap.
While she was playing Cartographers, I was practicing my karate.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will see all of you later. Bye.